Hi, I'm Paul Morley, and I'm with John Hannam, the City Clerk for the City of Thunder Bay. And recently, as everybody knows, we've got a new mayor and a couple of new councillors that have come in. And I thought that after seeing John's vote campaign in the community, that it was time to find out a little bit more about how our community is administered, how councillors work, how the mayor works, and how administration works. So, John, welcome.
Thank you, Paul.
So the first question I have has to do with the vote campaign that we saw prior to the election.
Right.
And the question is, what kind of role did the community play, the administration play, and how did this compare to other communities around the country?
Well, in preparing for the 2010 election, we made a conscious effort to reach out to the voters to make sure that voters were aware of the election, details around it in terms of how to get on to the voters list, how to correct information on the voters list, when and where to vote, and what those opportunities were. And we did so in a manner which far more aggressively than we've done in the past, and very deliberately attempting to encourage more people to get out to vote. And with some focus on youth and the Aboriginal community as well. There's nowhere defined whose role it is to go after voter turnout, so to speak. But we felt it was part of our responsibility to reach out as much as we could. So we had an aggressive advertising campaign, in print, electronic media, poster campaigns on the buses, billboards in the community. That sort of thing. A couple of radio contests, all to try to keep voters' awareness up around the election in terms of when and where to vote, and getting on the voters list. At the end of the day, voter turnout increased over 2006 from 38.5% to 46.5%. We certainly can't take full credit for that increase. There are many factors that affect voter turnout. The activity in the political side of the election campaign, of course, has a huge impact, and people's general behavior around elections. But I think we can take some credit for seeing that increase in voter turnout. Didn't get back to our historic highs, so there's clearly still work to do in the community. And even at our historic levels, at 51%, that means that there's virtually half the people in the community don't vote. So. It's a long-term strategy to gradually turn that in a positive direction.
When you look at the role of council, how does that work, and who's in charge? Like, is it an act of some sort?
I mean, there are many pieces of legislation that affect municipal operations, but the primary one is the Ontario Municipal Act. And it provides the authority for many of the services and activities of the municipality. And included in it is a defined role for both members of council and the head of council, which is the phrase that's used in the Act, which means the mayor. And the role is defined for each, and it's largely representative. It's for on both sides, both the member of council and for the mayor. They're to play a representative role in representing the public and the best interest of the municipality, both as a corporation and as a community. The mayor has, in addition to that representative role, is also called upon to provide leadership to the council. And so, that would manifest itself, for instance, if there was an issue that council was struggling with and couldn't make a decision where to go, then, it's often the expectation the mayor would step forward and propose a direction and try to convince council to follow in that way. That's not solely the mayor's responsibility, but that's who it's defined under the Act with. There are no administrative role for council or the mayor. It's best likened to a board of directors in a private corporation. The board of directors set direction and policy for the corporation, and it's the administration and the staff that carry out that policy. And so that's defined in the Municipal Act as well, that it's council's role to establish policy and direction for the municipality, and it's administration's role to carry out and implement that policy.
I understand that the mayor is also the chief executive officer for the corporation of the City of Thunder Bay. Explain that. I don't understand.
What does it mean to be the chief executive officer of the municipal corporation? The Act says that that's the role of the mayor. And that can be confusing because people think of the CEO of a corporation as being the one who heads the corporation administratively. That's not the case with a municipality. It's best compared to, again, a board of directors and the chair of that board of directors, and that's what the mayor is here. He has executive powers in as much as he's the chief signing officer for the corporation, along with myself as the city clerk. But we have an chief administrative officer, currently Mr. Camisso, and that's who council has appointed to carry out the implementation of activities. So the CEO is, again, that leadership and representative role as the head of the council, or the private sector comparison as the chair of the board.
Explain to me the big picture. How does administration and the council and the mayor, how do they all work together, and specifically administration?
Administration is required to carry out the policy and direction that council puts in place. And it's defined as well in the Act. Beyond the implementation, they also have a role in providing advice and expertise to council. So, on a given issue, administration will bring its expertise through what we call a corporate report to council that explains, the background to an issue and what the pros and cons might be to different strategies that might be employed, and gives their recommendation based on their expertise. So their best advice as administration to council. Council then chooses the direction to go in, and that may or may not be the specific recommendation from administration, and it's then administration's responsibility to carry out that direction. And so administration is really the engine that fuels council's decision, where administration provides the expertise, the information, does the footwork to consult with the community, those sorts of things, brings that information to council, and so they have all that they need, hopefully, to make an informed decision.
When it comes to a voting situation, and you have the councillors and you have the mayor, can you explain to me, does everybody get one vote, or what's the story there?
Yeah, everyone on council has a vote. Unlike some private corporations, the chair of the meeting doesn't get to vote. That's not the case in municipal council. Everyone has a vote, and each vote is equal in its weight. And so when any issue is being voted on at either committee or city council, all members are called upon to vote on the issue. And in our practice is to raise your hands to indicate your either support or opposition to a particular issue. And if you fail to vote, that's taken as a negative vote, that you don't support it. So, but every vote is equal, and everyone has one.
For those that are interested in finding out more about the Municipal Act, about how the mayor operates and within council and how administration works, where can they go, and how can they explore further the role of our governance of our community?
Well, there's a number of resources. One of which is our own procedural rules, and but perhaps the best place is to start by watching a council meeting and seeing how that unfolds in terms of business. So they're available both on Shaw TV to watch, and starting this Monday night, it'll be streamed live on the city's website every week from now on. But other resources are the Municipal Act itself, which can be found online on the provincial government's website. If people were to call our office, we'll give you specific directions on how to find that. And also on the government's website, there is a municipal section that helps outline a lot of the stuff we've talked about today, and help the public understand how council works.
Well, thank you, John. Excellent discussion today on the role of council, administration, the mayor, and of course the recent vote campaign that we've witnessed. So thanks again for your time. It's been a real pleasure, and now onward and forward.
My pleasure, Paul.